Hello, let's get into chapter 16. This chapter is very close to me because the name of this channel that this broadcast comes across is Black Professional Life, Constant Drama. And the reason I renamed my first book that was because of my professionalism as I see it. But in Dr. Woodson's analysis or writings, he shows us that it's more than just learning statutes and being able to even represent people. The key is increasing our personal and professional development. Let's get into chapter 16, the reading. And like, share, let somebody else know about these series where they can go in and listen at their leisure on our channel. Chapter 16, the new type of professional man required. Negroes must become like English gentlemen who study the law of the land, not because they intend to practice the profession, but because every gentleman should know the law. And woman, everybody, I agree. It's more than just the practice of law. It's the knowledge and the application of the laws. I continue. We have too many lawyers of the wrong kind, but we have not our share of the right kind. Too many lawyers of the wrong kind, but we have not our share of the right kind. Remember, this is written in 1933. Because our lawyers do not give attention to these problems, they often fail in a crisis. They are interested in the race and want to defend its cause. The case, however, requires not only the unselfish spirit they sometimes manifest, but much more understanding of the legal principles involved. Our lawyers must learn that the judges are not attorneys themselves, for they have to decide on the merits of what is presented to them. It is not the business of judges to amend their pleadings or decide their cases according to their good intention. I pause right here, and I remember my first case out of law school. I was not as astute in civil procedure as in terms of the presentation of the pleadings as I should have been. I acknowledge that. My very first case before the court. A high profile case too, by the way. Anyway, I continue to read. Certainly, such generosity cannot be expected from prejudiced courts, which are looking for every loophole possible to escape from a frank decision on the rights of Negroes guaranteed by the Constitution. These matters require advanced study and painstaking research. But our lawyers, as a rule, are not interested in this sort of mental exercise. On account of the racial contact required of white physicians, who are sometimes unwilling to sustain this relation to Negroes, the Negro physicians and dentists have a better chance among their people than the Negro lawyers. And the demand for the services of the former assures a larger income than the Negro lawyers are accustomed to earn. But in spite of this better opportunity, Negro medical institutions and their graduates have done little more than others to solve the peculiar problems confronting the Negro race, our race, my race. Too many Negroes go into medicine and dentistry merely for selfish purposes, hoping thereby to increase their income and spend it in joyous living. They have the ambition to own fine automobiles, to dress handsomely, and to figure conspicuously in society. The Negroes of today are very much in need of physicians who, in their professional work, will live up to what they are taught in school and will build upon their foundation by both experience and further training. Period. Paraphrase, development. We need to develop and move beyond the immaturity. I go back. In his segregated position in the ghetto, the Negro health problem presents more difficulties than that of whites who are otherwise circumstanced. The longevity of the Negro depends in part upon the supply of Negro physicians and nurses who will address themselves unselfishly to the solution of this particular problem. Negro medical schools and their graduates must do more preaching of the necessity for improving conditions which determine health and eradicate disease. A large number of physicians and nurses must be trained, and new opportunities for them to practice must be found. Negro medical students have not directed sufficient attention to the antebellum background of the Negro, who, still under that influence, indulges in superstitious and religious practices which impede the progress of medicine among them. One would be surprised to know the extent to which primitive medicine is practiced among American Negroes today. Often in the rural districts, they seldom see a physician. All Negroes in professions constitute less than 2.5% of those over 10 years of age who are gainfully employed. Read that again. All Negroes in professions constitute less than 2.5% of those over 10 years of age who are gainfully employed. At the same time, the whites find certain of their professions overcrowded, and some of their practitioners could not exist without the patronage of Negroes. As an English abolitionist said more than a century ago, the portrait of the Negro has been seldom drawn, but by the pencil of the oppressor, and the Negro has set for it in the distorted attitude of slavery. A new method of approach, however, is now possible. There has been an awakening in Europe to the realization of the significance of African culture, and circles there want to see that life depicted by the Negro who can view it from within. That was a short but sweet chapter, power packed with professions that we need to be further developed and understand what we face. Let's get ready for the next chapter. We only got a few more to go. And you know, if a person share the book, send them Dr. Carter Woodson's book. And if a person doesn't want to read, tell them to tune in to Black Professional Life, Constant Drama.